Soft moss cushions the soles of a traveler's boots as they tread through a silent forest just before dawn. Pale shafts of light pierce the canopy, illuminating floating dust motes as dew glints on fern fronds. Each step is deliberate, slow, an invitation to breathe in the scent of damp earth and ancient bark. The air is cool, yet gentle, carrying whispers of pine resin and the distant trill of a waking songbird. In the hush, even time seems to pause. As the traveler continues, hidden clearings reveal themselves, ancient stone markers, half buried in leaf litter, carved long ago by hands now forgotten. Lichen shields their surfaces soft as velvet, while vines embrace their edges with tender persistence. A wooden staff grazes moss-covered roots, sending a faint rustle through the silence. It feels as though the forest remembers each footfall, as if these paths exist by invitation rather than demand. Further along, a brook appears, its water smooth and clear, tracing silver lines between pebbles. The traveler kneels, hands cupped to its surface, tasting its cold purity. A single bird alights nearby, watching before taking flight again. The scene is small but whole, an unspoken bond between wanderer and place, woven from water, stone, and sky. And in that calm communion, the traveler pauses, eyes closed to the world, inhaling moss and water and the promise of solitude. Here, in this forgotten kingdom, every breath carries memory, and every footstep becomes a prayer whispered along the forest floor. Morning mist drifts between ancient oak trunks, weaving through branches that arch overhead like cathedral ribs. The traveler's cloak rustles softly as footsteps hush on the dark green carpet of fallen needles. Each breath brings the soft scent of mushroom and wet leaves, mingled with the faint smoke of distant hearths. Light filters through in subtle, dusty planes, painting patches of warmth on gnarled roots and stone-carved boundary posts. Personal rituals follow each step, a gentle brush against a carved totem pole, worn smooth by pilgrims before. A brief pause to touch the edge of a centuries-old glade, its twilight glow guarded by stoic, silent trees. Occasionally, the traveler stoops to touch an herb patch, mint, thyme, whose aroma rises with each exhale, grounding senses in the hush of grace. The path narrows until it frames a ruined tower, moss hugging its stones, its arrow slits cradling slanted beams of morning. The traveler steps inside, boots echoing softly on flagstones warmed by a lone sunbeam. Within, ivy dapples the walls, and a single bench remains, as if waiting. Dust motes swirl in the stillness, settling with reverence. Here, breath slows. The traveler sits, backpack leaning against the cool stone. Fingers trace the grain of the moss-hidden bench. Stillness deepens. In that opening, the pulse of forest and ruin converge, caught between what was and what remains, and all is embraced by quiet wonder. A gentle breeze threads through fallen leaves along the forest lane, lifting golden dust motes in its wake. Branches bare of summer whispers bend like silent sentries overhead. The traveler passes under low-hanging boughs, hands brushing brittle foliage. Beneath the canopy, a forgotten altar of moss-covered stone stands before them, its face etched with indistinct runes. A single candle flickers in a glass lantern beside it, as though lit by unseen hands. The traveler pauses, kneels before the altar's edge. Fingers rest on its cold, damp surface. Smells of moss and charcoal drift upward. They close their eyes. A distant bell sound echoes, real or imagined, beneath the forest hush. They watch rising breath meet candlelight in the glass, soft and fleeting. With care, they kneel a small flower, a clean white blossom from the forest floor, into a carved depression of the stone, symbolic of gratitude. Snow flutters ever so softly, like blessings from the sky, dusting cloak and hair with quiet grace. A deer steps into the clearing, still as time, glancing once before melting into mist. The traveler stands, breath stilling. Snow falls gently, each flake a hush against the altar's silence. Step by step, the traveler resumes their path, lantern glowing softly at their side, forest absorbing the moment like a blessing, and the world shapes itself around quiet reverence. A wood-roofed bridge arches over a silent stream, its timber darkened by age. The traveler crosses slowly, pausing at the center to inhale the crisp chill of slow-moving water beneath. The bridge's guardrails feel smooth and warm under gloved fingers. Stones lining the bank are covered in moss, golden flecked by gentle sunbeams. Shadows shift like breathing shapes below. Past the bridge, the forest appears narrower, deeper. A wooden signpost splits into three well-worn paths, each framed by bracken and trailing ivy. The traveler rests a palm on its carved lettering, tracing Eldwold, Steinride, and Leofing. Each name echoes ancient meaning under scales of mist. They choose the central path, boots pressing softly into the moss. Further on, a hunter's cabin appears, smoke drifting lazily from its chimney. A cat sleeps on the windowsill, its chest rising and falling softly. The traveler crouches and peers inside. A kettle simmers, steam curling upward, incense drifting across the room. Pausing, they drink in the quiet homeliness. Stone hearth, wooden beams, hand-hewn stools. It is a place of pause without disruption. They resume their journey, heart steady, as dusk begins to stain the leaves with violet tones. Each breath lowers tension. Each step reminds the traveler they are both guest and witness. In this forgotten kingdom, the forest path offers more than passage. It offers belonging. Sunlight filters through cathedral-like pines, casting long rib shadows across the forest floor. The traveler walks where fallen needles quilt the ground, their breath steady in the cold. From above, a woodpecker taps a gentle rhythm, echoing through the hush, itself a melody of presence. The traveler stops, tilts their head to listen, chest softening with peace. A glade unfolds ahead, dotted with ancient stone benches, their surfaces carved with intertwined vines from forgotten craftsmen. The traveler settles onto one, its moss-damp stone warming slightly beneath winter sun. A slow exhalation releases tension. They set down a leather-bound journal and quill, run fingers across its cover, the worn leather a tangible story. Wind strokes the pages, turning one as if reminding them all is welcome. Rest, silence, reflection. They open the journal, inkless and blank, but place the quill gently atop it. No word is needed. The forest's hush replaces them. Snow drifts slowly through open canopy and settles lightly, whispering comfort. The traveler closes eyes, remembering bird song, footsteps, warmth of sun and cold of stone, weaving them together. Breath, earth, and forest become a single lullaby. Misty breaths rise in the crisp air as the traveler treads a winding path beneath frost-lined branches. Each footfall is cushioned in fresh snowfall, leaving clean, solitary prints behind. The hush is not empty. It feels shaped, held. A distant stag calls softly. The traveler stops, gloved hand raised in quiet salute to unseen presence. They continue, arriving at a small clearing where a solitary bench faces eastward. The stone armrests are carved with running fox motifs. The traveler sits, draws cloak tighter, and lifts a tin cup of warm herbal tea from pack. Steam curls upward. The drink tastes of chamomile and winter mint. Flavor settles gently in throat like comfort. The forest exhales light shifting through the branches, painting patterns across cloak and snow. Snow crushes softly under boots of a passing hare, unseen. A tiny bell strung from a tree branch rings once as it moves, like a quiet blessing. The traveler sets the cup in their lap, eyes tracing pale sky through bare branches. No words are spoken, only breath and simplicity. In that soft vigil, the heart slows as the forest's rhythms seep in, gently guiding toward deeper rest. Late afternoon light drizzles amber across the path as the traveler turns eastward. A stone stop filled with blessing water stands beside a timber cross at a fork in the way. The traveler pauses, dips fingers into the water, and traces a small sign of the cross against their cloak. The water's coolness carries focus into the moment. They step toward a quiet meadow beyond the trees. A patch of snowdrops pushes through the thawing earth, small tokens of promise. A lark rises, calling once before descending into the breeze. The traveler brushes a hand across the blossom petals, closing eyes to capture that simple grace. As the sun lowers, the forest pathway coalesces around pale pink hues and lengthening shadows. The traveler continues, each step lighter, carried by soft light and mindful breathing. And as twilight begins to weave its embrace, the path, the peace itself becomes a living lullaby, guiding toward the deeper quiet that awaits beyond.